On a misty mountain, there was a small monastery where an old monk lived. He was very wise and kind. Many people came to him for advice, and he often taught them using simple stories. One day, a sad young man came to see the monk. He looked tired, and his face showed deep sorrow. When he arrived, the monk was working in the monastery's garden. "Master," the young man said, his voice trembling, "I feel useless. No matter what I do, it seems like it doesn't matter. I feel broken inside. Why should I keep going?" The monk looked at him kindly and smiled. He picked up 2 clay pots from the garden. One pot was perfect, with no flaws. The other pot had a crack running down its side. The monk gave the cracked pot to the young man and kept the perfect pot for himself. "Come with me," the monk said. "Let's go to the stream." The young man followed the monk down a small path. When they reached the stream, the monk filled both pots with water. He handed the cracked pot back to the young man, and they walked back to the garden. As they walked, water leaked out of the cracked pot. By the time they reached the garden, the young man's pot was only half full, while the monk's pot was still full. The young man sighed and held up his pot. "See," he said. "This is how I feel, broken and unable to hold anything without losing it." The monk smiled again and pointed to the path they had just walked. "Look at the side of the path," he said. The young man looked closely. Along the side where water had leaked from his pot, colorful flowers were blooming. The other side of the path, where the perfect pot's water had not touched, was dry and empty. "I planted seeds along this path," the monk explained. "The water from your cracked pot made them grow. Without your crack, these flowers wouldn't exist." The young man stared at the flowers in amazement. "But I didn't even know I was doing that," he said softly. The monk gently placed a hand on his shoulder. "That is how life works," he said. "Even when we feel broken, we can still bring beauty and goodness to the world. Your cracks are not your weakness, they are what make you special and useful." The young man sat quietly, thinking about the monk's words. For the first time in a long while, he felt a sense of peace. When he left the monastery, he carried the cracked pot with him as a reminder. He now understood that even broken things have a purpose, and sometimes, it is because of their cracks that they create something beautiful. If we see in our life, we may often feel like we are broken or incomplete, as though we cannot fulfill our purpose or make a difference. We might compare ourselves to others who seem perfect and wonder why we keep trying when everything feels like it's slipping away. But like the cracked pot, our imperfections and struggles may be the very things that allow us to create beauty, offer kindness, and make a lasting impact. Sometimes, it's in our flaws that we find our true strength. Just as the water from the cracked pot nurtured the flowers along the path, our difficulties and weaknesses can lead us to moments of growth, compassion, and connection. We may not always see it, but the things that feel like burdens can be the source of unexpected blessings for others. Remember, your life has a purpose, even if it feels unclear at times. Just as the cracks in the pot help the flowers bloom, your challenges can help you bring light, beauty, and hope to the world in ways you never imagined. Keep going, for you never know how your unique journey may touch someone else's life.